My name is Biljana Vazarevich, and today we are going to continue with 41 Days of Compassion on this Ahimsa in Action page. I'm very happy to you're here again. This is day 30, and after chanting Maha Mrityunjaya Mantra, we're going to discuss, first listen to Mohanji's podcast, how people connect to Mohanji, how people connect to the source. It will be amazing to see really in practical terms how we connect to the source as per our orientation, constitution, and actually how we are, not how the source is, because the source itself is without any attributes of mind, matter, mind, intellect, ego, or that's totally apart from it. If you're ready, make yourself comfortable. Maha Mrityunjaya Mantra is beautiful combination of Sanskrit sounds, as you know, for increasing our vibration and level of consciousness. It increases the awareness level practically through experience and makes us aware that we are supreme energy which has no beginning nor end. It is continuous and immortal. Gradually, Maha Mrityunjaya Mantra helps in making us more invincible inside by feeling how invincible we are inside. It makes us feel how we are this beautiful, powerful energy and not this body with tools like mind, intellect, ego. It is spirit itself, and it inhabits this body, which is temporary and mortal. But our essence and identifying with our essence makes us ever stable, ever powerful, and realizing our immortal nature. It helps us feel free of the mind and free, like the soul itself is free. So let's start with chanting. Please chant from the stomach, not from the throat. Let your whole body be like a musical instrument. Let it vibrate completely from the inside. So we'll chant about 20% outside loudly and 80% absorbed within. Breathe in deeply, pay attention to your spine. Breathe vertically from the bottom of your spine to the top of your head. And breathe out from the top of your head to the bottom of your spine. Just a few breaths to calm your mind, to prepare. Again, deeply, vertically from the bottom of your spine to the top of your head. And exhale from the top of your head to the bottom of your spine. And one more time. Feel your spine and feel your breath while you are breathing in. And while you are breathing out. Long, deep, soothing, beautiful breath. Now inhale with your stomach. Keep your back straight and your shoulders relaxed, wide apart. Triyambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityurmukshiyamamritat Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityurmukshiyamamrita. 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 Keep your eyes closed. You can start listening while keeping your eyes closed. Feel the vibrations in your body.
Welcome to Mohanji Speaks.
This podcast is slightly longer than the other episodes, and it's recommended that you listen to it in its entirety with enough time to listen from start to finish. And listen again. It's a good one to keep listening to as a reminder. We hope you enjoy.
Hello friends. Let's talk about positioning today. We all have certain complexes in us, which we might have experienced especially in our teenage years. And some of these complexes makes it difficult for us to position ourselves in this world. Along with that point, we can also think about our connection with various types of people. Let's take one category, spiritual masters. What is a spiritual master? A person who has settled within himself, inside himself. That is a spiritual master. Somebody who has taken himself off his senses, mind matter, and established himself in his consciousness is a master. That means he is detached from the external world. his dependencies are less, and he is very stable because of that. Once we recognize somebody in that way, we tend to connect to that person just because the aspiration of every person who is swayed by the mind is to reach that state. And what is the sign of that state? The sign of inner stillness is silence. No judgment, no criticism, no anger, hatred, revenge, peace, total peace. That's a state that you arrive at when you are deeply connected to the consciousness of a spiritual master. How do people connect to a spiritual master? Usually, as per what they are. You cannot connect to the world as per the world is, because we have our orientations, we have our inclinations, we have our disposition. Having all this, orientations, inclinations, dispositions, we will connect to the world only as per what we are. Each person connects to another and connects to the world as per what they are. They cannot connect in any other way. People who are of emotional by nature connects to the master with devotion. Bhakti yogis, the devotional kind. People who are of intellectual by nature may connect to the master's philosophy, what he says, the intellectual stuff. Jnana yogis, the intellectual kind. People who are of ego-oriented nature connect to the master's personality, because ego is the skeleton of a personality. Ego gives structure to the personality. So he is more connected to the master's personality. Then there are people who love to serve. They are kind by nature. They want to give to the world, share with the world. The karma yogis, they connect to the master's philanthropic aspect. Then there are very rare species, the Raja yogis, who connect to the consciousness of the master, the stillness aspect. So as per the orientation, people connect to the master accordingly. A bhakti yogi, a person who is inclined devotionally, will find it absurd why the other categories are not worshipping the master. While a person who is oriented to knowledge will find it absurd that these devotional people are worshipping the master, a perishable body. What is there to worship? Each category will find the other absurd. This is a very important point to understand. Nothing is absurd to the person who's oriented in that format, that pattern. We must remember that. Hence, we must not judge, because a devotional person, an emotional person, cannot understand the knowledge path at all, because that's not his orientation. A karma yogi will find it uneasy to just connect to a master based on the knowledge or devotion. It's absurd for him. So if you look at each category, you will find that they have distinction. They are distinct in their own thought process, inclinations, tendencies. We must respect them. The rare breed of people who connect directly to the consciousness of the master sees themselves in the master or sees the master in themselves. There's no need to worship. There's no need to act in any way. There's nothing to understand. That's very rare, very difficult. It is not a mind thing. It's actually a state. Very rarely people arrive at that state after going through all the other states. Those people need nothing from the master. His presence, his state is the most important thing. They directly connect to the state of the master and stabilize themselves. Just like a spark is enough to catch fire if the wood is dry. Just a spark. And the spark is always sitting in the master who has stabilized himself. He is burning fire. He is a fire which is alive. If you really understand all these aspects, we will never judge, we will never criticize, we will never try to discriminate based on the orientations which we cannot understand. People connect to people based on what they are. Some people look at the master as freedom, total freedom, because he is independent from the world outside. He is detached from the world outside. Some people feel the master as love because he gives love without expectations, free love, unconditional love, which is very rare in the world. We all experience unconditional love from our mothers. Mothers always gives unconditional love to their children. But apart from that, the world is full of conditional love. But Master, who has found himself, is established in unconditional love. Some people may look at the Master as a great romantic. When you become everything, eternal romance sprouts within you. You are a romantic. You are eternally romantic. What restricts you is your mind, eager to create frames with expectations. If there are no expectations, there are no frames. Then you love the world because you are everything. You see yourself in everything. There is nothing apart from you. It's an eternal romance. Your heart is so expanded that there is nothing else possible, just romance. Some people look at the Master and they see rigidity, strictness. This is because discipline and determination are essential to dissolve. Mind is captured always by patterns which we have cultivated and nurtured over time. Master becomes strict to certain people because he understands that discipline is essential to cross the barriers of the mind, such as prejudices, patterns, and fears. As you are, as what's inside you, you see the Master. But the Master is everything because he has established in himself. He has become the universe and he is everything. He is not just one thing. So he caters to each person as per what they are, as per their orientation, as per their need to take the next step. What is essential is that aspect or that guidance or that help, that which makes them or helps them to take a stride further. In conclusion, I always recommend that you need to connect to the Master sufficiently, giving yourself time to ask all the questions to yourself, and if it is too much for you to ask the Master, take time to understand, take time to assimilate, take time to know the Master before you take the plunge. But once you take the plunge, stay put. Ask yourself, what is your orientation? How do you know? It's very simple. What suits you? What's effortless for you? That's your orientation. What's not suiting you, you should not do. For example, a person who is attracted to the philosophy, the knowledge of the Master, and is not attracted to the devotional side of the Master or devotional aspect towards the Master, should refrain from doing the devotional side. Because somebody else who is of devotional by nature, bhakti yogi by nature, is doing it, you don't have to do it. You connect to the Master as you are, which is more stable and more real. Every connection should be realistic. Otherwise, it has no longevity. It will not survive time. Your connection should be with full awareness of what you are, not what the Master is. You can only connect to another being as you are. Understanding your orientation is extremely essential for fruitful connections, for maintaining good connections. and don't look any further. You realize what is your orientation, what is your constitution, and if you connect accordingly, you will have stable and real and peaceful connection. Stable connection is extremely essential for the sake of longevity. Birds of the same feather flocks together. You need to have the same frequency, or you need to identify your frequency and connect in that way to a universal frequency so you can derive what you require out of it. No master needs any worship. No master ever tells anybody you should worship me. Only insecure people will tell all these things. Only insecure people will want people to worship them. This is a perishable body. This is what you are. You have taken this body for the sake of experiences and expressions. That's about it. All that you are doing or all that is happening in your life are experiences of various nature and expressions of what you are into this world. Nothing else is happening. So nobody who's balanced will say somebody should worship them. It doesn't matter. But if somebody's orientation needs that fulfillment, let it be. We cannot deny anybody's experience of any kind. A true master allows that experience to happen. A true master just let it flow. How they are, let them connect as they are, so that there is fulfillment individually. Individual fulfillment is essential for transition to happen in life. If fulfillments are denied, if they are suppressed, they come back with more force, which binds them further to earth. For liberation to happen, fulfillment is essential. A true master allows that to happen. There will be no restriction. What is inside you, what is burning inside you, that's what is to be addressed. It has to be addressed. A burning desire is an important thing for that person. If awareness can take care of it, fulfill it, or through higher awareness, if you can diminish that fire, it's fine. If through higher awareness also this fire is not diminished, fulfillment is the only solution. And fulfillment must happen. It will happen at its time. A true master allows it to happen and releases the person from that binding desire. In nutshell, if you really understand yourself, you can connect to a master who is stability incarnate effectively. If you have not settled inside, or if you have not understood yourself, if you have not understood your orientation, all your connections will be temporary, faulty, and with expectation. Any connection with expectation has a duration. A connection without expectations, selfless connections, unconditional connections will live forever. This is food for thought for you today. Think about it, ponder it, and communicate about it. Lots of love. This is Mohanji for you.
I hope you enjoyed this explanation of various aspects of how people connect. Actually, how they connect, how we connect, how we are. Interested how all of us are some kind of mixture. I don't think there is one person totally 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 calm. service or volunteering, doing something for others without expecting anything in return, which is characteristic of community. It's also part of everyone's elevation, and everyone needs to do certain service or volunteering or helping others, doing something for others and for the world without expecting anything in return. To a certain extent, to get elevated, get cleansed, but core way of elevation really is spiritual practice, and this practice is specific for everyone. There is no one measure for all or one technique for everybody. So that's why this is beautiful. It is a customized approach to connecting to the source, customized approach to respect ourselves and our uniqueness. So there is no priority. And I love that Mohanji mentioned this, not only bhakti, on the path of devotion, love, overflowing with rendering and worshiping objects of love, like we usually do with our partners, with our lovers, and jnana through knowledge, by learning various books, and finding sentences, passages, excerpts, and quotes which somehow give us experience that we feel elevated and open new doors, open new and create new neuron brains, pathways, and evolution in our brain service, feeding hundreds of thousands or millions of people, depending on our capacity, helping our neighbors, helping or sharing our skills. There are lots of platforms out there, educational ones, where you can serve and get education service. Apart from ACT Foundation, some of the for Act for Hunger, creating a multitude of these platforms are really helpful for community type and for every type to fulfill and satisfy the service aspect, action aspect. One can serve by offering skills, time, energy, expertise, anything like that. Even money, although it's not essential, as the financing one's education, being a sponsor, being a patron, being a patron for helping that way, supporting someone's travel, someone's education, someone's medical services, etc. This is also possible, but not the only way of serving. And if a person is egoistic, then while you connect to different person, his personality. But the tricky thing is that, from my experience, once he changes his ways of expressing himself, he always changes just to break someone's patterns or expectations of a master. If someone connects him with his personality, he will change his image or way of behavior or way of favorite things that he do with his mission. Definitely, that's unchangeable because he's there for the mission of spreading awareness about philanthropy, spreading selflessness as the culture, helping others as the culture, unity of all beings on earth, and nurturing the beings of the earth without any discrimination. So that aspect is unchangeable, but the form will change, and that's how someone's preference. And also his physical, get attracted to his physical aspect. You will notice his hair, eyes being, they will notice all kinds of bracelets or necklaces, malas, what he's wearing. So that's a type that connects to the physical aspect, and emotional aspect that connects to the love he radiates, or emotional part of him, which he expresses, and who has spent time with him, they will see how nothing is no word is basic for emotional expression from his and nothing is basic. He always expresses himself what the other person needs because he mirrors another person in front of him. And if the person has anger, he will reflect that anger, which means the person needs to get rid of the anger in himself. Or if the one is overwhelmed with the love, he will reflect back that love. And as you mentioned, one direction is romance and seeing the world as a huge romance, loving everything and everyone, sharing, actually expressing, having the need to share and express love in everyone. As you mentioned, the God, Krishna, the eternal romantic, as Krishna is everything, and played a lot of roles. I have never heard or seen anyone that has played so many roles so perfectly in their life. So that's really, really unique. And by playing all these roles, the essence is inner freedom, this peace inside, this silence within. And when you see a person who is very knowledgeable, very highly educated, plus spiritual seeker who has read thousands of books and still hasn't reached there or still hasn't realized himself. And if you see a spiritual master, what will be the difference? How will you recognize the difference? You will recognize the difference in that the master has nothing to do, and this person not yet realized one still has something to prove, still has something to experience, still has fulfillment pending, fulfillment of his desires pending. So that's the difference. Also, how will you notice that in the master there is deep peace within and huge detachment of everything? Whatever happens, he somehow feels that everything is disinterested. I noticed that in Mohanji, when he speaks, there is nothing of emotion glued to it. He speaks as if it is just a matter of fact. Or whatever emotion he expresses, it feels that he's not in that emotion in that moment. That it is just playing itself out through his body. And that's how we can recognize master. And the person who is not yet there, who is not yet in that silence. And a person with swaying mind or lost seeking for the truth, recognize this silence within the master, and that's what attracts us. Our soul craves for that, and merges with everything. It's like a drop of water craves for coming home, craves for merging with the ocean. When you see Raja Yoga is like advanced yoga and people who connect to Mohanji directly and to the consciousness directly. Disinterested in how he looks, disinterested in how he indicates where he is in the world. But just feel this connection with the consciousness directly. This really requires maturity and is the most powerful way to connect and to get elevated. Powerful way to get connected to the source, but it means really that to be matured enough to connect to our own depth, to our own silence within. It really shows how deeply we are able to connect the silence within while we are being with ourselves. And that's where we find authenticity in the heart itself. That's where we find yeah, beyond emotion, beyond the knowledge, beyond the action, beyond everything, but just in the consciousness itself. Raja Yoga is difficult and it can be tricky if we think we are there but not there yet. But on the other hand, if we feel connected without a need for expressing love through writing poems or painting music, for example, expressing emotionally that without need for reading, teaching, or watching it, or without the compulsive need for action, expressing this. When we feel that connection, even without it, then we are there penetrating to consciousness. Mohanji's eyes are radiating consciousness and this is really shortcuts. I feel that it is a shortcut to this Raja Yoga path. For those who recognize it, really lucky, they're lucky and luck for them. Good for them. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and we could discuss it a little bit. So from one side only, if you like to add or ask, you can write comments here below and I will reach out to you later. Or you can write to me in inbox. I will also reach out to you later and we can continue discussion. Lots of love. I wish you a wonderful